Pakistan is one of the majority Muslim populated country where 95% are Muslims and remaining 5% are Christians, Hindus and other religious minorities. The religious persecution became prevalent when military ruler Zia-ul-Haq made the 8th Amendment in the Pakistani Constitution which opened the door of religious terrorism in Pakistan. And in 2002, Christian persecution in Pakistan became rampant when dozens were arrested and few were sentenced to death under the blasphemy law. That year marked a dark year in the history of Pakistan, when churches were attacked by the hands of Muslim militant groups, killing over 50 innocent Christians. Similarly, many incidents took place in different parts of Pakistan, which ignited great fear in the Christian community. 2009 was undoubtedly another very bad year for Christian persecution against the minorities in Pakistan. Muslim radicals attacked Bhamniwala, Korea and Gojra, in which they looted and vandalized hundreds of Christian houses. The Pakistani government also set up a judicial commission to inquire about the Gojra attack, in which dozens of Christian homes were set alight and 7 Christians were murdered. The judicial report identified the responsible element and also suggested amendment in the blasphemy law, but unfortunately, no attention has been paid to this regard. Similarly, 2012 also became one of the worst years for Christian persecution against the minorities of Pakistan, when hundreds of Christian and Hindu girls were abducted and raped and then forcibly converted into Islam. This high level of persecution forced Christian and Hindus to flee from Pakistan. A large number of Hindu families escaped from Pakistan to protect their wives and daughters. Before this, Hindus were allowed to cross the Indo-Pak borders. They shared their woes with Pakistani media. They said that their shops were looted, their houses were raided by unknown men, and women were forcibly converted into Islam in the province of Sindh. The same Hindus also held a protest, after which Pakistani government allowed them to cross over into India the next day. This embarrassing news made the Sindh Chief Minister and President of Pakistan, Asif Ali Zardari, take notice. The Presidential Committee also set up to end the dilemma of Hindus. Unfortunately, to this day, no attention has been paid to Judicial Commission recommendation, and the blasphemy law remains as the hanging sword upon Christians. And if we talk about the terrorism in Pakistan, terrorism in Pakistan has become a highly vicious reality in recent years. The annual death toll from terrorist attack has risen up to approximately 60,000 in last 13 years. According to the Pakistani government, the direct and indirect economic cost of terrorism from 2000 to 2010 was $68 billion. Former Presidents Asif Ali Zardari and General Pervez Musharraf had to admit that terrorist outfits were deliberately created and looked by previous government as a policies to achieve some short-term strategic objective. Muhammad Zia-ul-Haq controversial Islamization policies of 1980s, under which conflicts were started against Russian involvement in Afghanistan. Zia's tenure as president included when Pakistani involvement in Afghan-Soviet war was underway, which led to a greater invasion of ideology, driving Mujahideen into tribal areas, FATA, of Pakistan. It amplified the Kalashnikov culture and drugs from Golden Crescent. Zia, who was an extremist Muslim while he was in power, tried to impose Sharia in Pakistan. He was even the person who strictly introduced the blasphemy law in Pakistan. In 80s, he welcomed Mujahideen from Arab, Chechnya, Uzbekistan, Indonesia, and other parts of the world to fight against USSR. He puts Pakistan into fire by establishing thousands of madrasas to train these Mujahideens. This was the time when Osama bin Laden, along with thousands of Arab terrorists, entered in Pakistan, and Pakistan became the nursery of Muslim extremists. Zia made every possible effort to make Pakistan pure Sharia country. Even after the Afghan-Soviet war, these mujahideens were never disarmed. And later on, these groups were activated as Lashkar-e-Taiba, Sipai-Sahaba, Harkatul Mujahideens, and some of them joined Al-Qaeda, led by Bin Laden. Later on, when Muhammad Nawaz Sharif took charge as an elected Prime Minister of Pakistan, he enforced Sharia Bill in May 1991 and promoted the anti-Christian elements in the society. The amendments made by Zia-ul-Haq and empowerment provided by Sharif's government created a new war between the religious minorities in Pakistan. This whole system destabilized the peace and harmony, putting Christians and other minorities into a hellish situation. Minorities who were already in a grave situation after these implications were put into a fire. After 9/11, Christian and other minorities went through a hard time. Muslim extremists, backed by Taliban ideology, made their lives miserable. Hundreds of attacks have been faced by Christian, Hindus, Shias, and Ahmadis in last decade. Over the last few years, it has been observed that several cases of blasphemies have been registered against Christian and other minorities in Pakistan. There will be no end to the persecution of these innocent people. Those who have already been falsely accused of blasphemy and who are sitting in jails will be given to death sentence without any further trial. With the growth of extremism in Pakistan, the religious minorities and particularly Christians have become constant target at the hands of misconceived and uneducated extremist masses who take it their religious duty to inflict the weaker religious communities of Pakistan. Pakistani government is completely failed to protect its minorities, which forced them to leave Pakistan for the safety and protection of their life. And the mass exodus of Christians from Pakistan started in 2009 when Christian colonies, villages and neighborhoods in Punjab were attacked by Muslim militants. Many houses were torched, wherein several persons were burnt alive. Hundreds of Christians from Korea and Gojra village left Pakistan and took refuge in Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Thailand, Hong Kong for the protection of their lives. In March 2013, Muslim fanatics attacked Joseph Colony, Badami Bagh, Lahore and burned down the entire Christian colony. This painful incident further accelerated the exodus of Christians from Pakistan. Most of these Pakistani Christians and other religious minorities reached Thailand, Sri Lanka, Hong Kong and Malaysia, expecting that UNHCR will consider their cases on humanitarian ground and they will be able to move to some other country where they could enjoy equal rights and safety of life and property. Challenges faced by Christian asylum seekers in second country. Thailand never signed the 1951 UN Refugee Convention that protects refugees' rights. Neither Malaysia nor Sri Lanka, where thousands of Pakistani asylum seekers seek refuge. However, people feel as UNHCR is having its headquarters in Bangkok, so it would be a good option for them. Moreover, it's easy to get the visa of Thailand. The majority of the people fleeing from their country consider that Bangkok is a good option for them to start their lives afresh. It's easy to obtain the Thai tourist visa, which allows them to stay in the kingdom for 60 days. Even many of them were shocked to discover that after 16 days, they will be considered as illegal immigrants of kingdom. The certificate issued by UNHCR has no legal values. This has been observed during these raids that police and immigration authorities threw these documents on the ground. Approximately 12,000 religious minorities have fled from Pakistan since 2009, which accelerated in 2013, and most of them had taken refuge in these countries. There are more than 4,000 Pakistani asylum seekers in Bangkok, Thailand. The most crucial situation faced by asylum seekers and refugees is the non-acceptance of asylum or refugee certificate from immigration and police as a valid reason to stay in Thailand. UNHCR Bangkok is not capable to have asylum seekers when catched on road or in homes by Thai authorities. The certificate has no legal value to provide security. Asylum seekers are in continuous trauma due to this situation. Children are mostly affected as they fear to be catched by authorities and separated from their parents. Families consist of 5 to 6 members are living in small rooms in Kony. The room size is small to fit the whole family. Small gallery is used as kitchen and place to dry wash clothes. Due to often crackdown, the families are almost closed inside these small rooms. This is the major cause of psychological pressure amongst the pregnant women and small children. Unhygienic environment results in the often fever, cough, diarrhea, and skin infection. Children are usually sick due to the sudden change in climate, and asylum seekers are unable to get medical treatment due to financial problems. Malnutrition is another reason of sick children. Basic right of every child is to have an environment where he or she can grow and have proper education. Language difference, and particularly no arrangement on ground to provide education for kids, is another big reason of mental stress among the kids and youth. Long period for arresting from UNHCR is destroying the next generation future. They are in strange situation where parents are already unsure what to do and where to go. It's directly affect on overall child's health in every respect.